Hello, I will be your examiner today. Are you ready?
Yes, totally.
And now let's start with the first question. Why do you think some people keep pets at home?
Well, I think we should all agree that pets are loyal companions to humans, especially for those who adopt pets when they're just newborn. Those animals are like the precious children to these families.
Well, thank you for your answer. And now for the next question. Have you ever had a pet before?
Well, I used to have a puppy corgi when I was a kid. He and I were best friends. Actually, I remember taking him to the park, feeding him with milk, and training him with many cool tricks. Sadly, when I got older, I discovered that I'm allergic to dog fur, so I had to give him away.
Well, thank you for your answer. And now let's move on to the next part. It's about your childhood. Can you please describe a happy childhood event?
I'm going to talk about a happy child event that I remember, and that event was my 13th birthday. It was like 3 years ago, not because now I'm 16. My birthday is on 20 June. What happened was my parents surprised me on my birthday by telling me that they were going to take me to a theme park that is a few hours from our house. I never been before. It had only been open a few months and they knew that I really wanted to go. As I recall, it was a Saturday that it went. They didn't tell me until the morning when I woke up that day. And then, at first, my whole family were involved in the event. I have a brother and a sister, so of course they came as well as my mom and my dad. And not only that, we also picked up my grandparents on the way so they could join us. They were too old to go on the rides, but it was still a great trip out for them. The theme park were really amazing. There was a huge roller coaster which I remember were really scary, but still excellent fun. What particularly thing I remember is the ghost train. My younger sister was not allowed to go on the ride because she was too young and she was really obsessed and jealous of me because she was and my brother. I think it's well lucky that she didn't though. It was really realistic. There were real people in there who were actually dressed up as ghosts and they jump out just when you weren't expecting it. It made us jump so many times. How I felt really depend on what I was doing. Obviously, I was excited the whole day, but I remember that I felt really excited when I was on the ride, such as the roller coaster, and scared, but still excited on the ghost train. The reason that I remember it so well is that I have been so desperate to go to the theme park and I've been talking to my friends at school for age about how I wanted to go, so it was so great when I found out that I could. Also, I remember it so well because all of my family were together. My dad will be pretty busy most of the time with his work, so we didn't always have much time to do things together when I was younger. So for the reason, it was a really special occasion that I never forget.
Thank you. And now let's move on to the next part. Can you tell me what kinds of possessions give status to people in your country?
A good question. Well, let me think. I say it depends on where you are and who you are with. If you are in public, it's things like the car you are driving. If you have the latest Mercedes-Benz model, then in my country, that's a size of status, as more people can even afford a car at all. Whatever the make, property or the house you own and the possession you have in it are also a sign of status. If you have a nice house in a nice area, then this shows that you have money and you are someone important.
Yes, and now let's for the last question. Has it always been the same or different possession thought of as valuable in the past?
Well, I'm too young to remember exactly what it was like a long time ago, but yes, I think it's quite different. For example, cars, as I mentioned before, only really came to our country in the last 10 years or so. That kind of consumerism is a fairly recent thing, so this couldn't have been used as a representation of something valuable. I think it's good things like gold and jewelry that were seen as valuable. Of course, they are still seen as valuable today, but previously it was these things over anything else, as a lot of the modern day possessions were not available. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
So what's your name?
My name is Mai Anh.
Nice to meet you, Mai. So I will be your examiner today. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to let's start with part 1.
Yes.
Your first question is, do you like to drink water?
Nothing is more refreshing than a glass of cool water in a hot summer day. Sipping a cup of water also the wonders for me when I need to calm down or do to think something through.
That's nice. So the next one is, do you drink much water every day?
Yes, quite a lot. I keep a habit of drinking at least 2 glasses of water right after I get up and 1 glass about 30 minutes before I get meal, and I can count how many times I refill the glass of my working desk every day.
That sounds like you have a good habit of drinking water. So how often do you have a drink of water?
Well, I usually have at least 10 glasses of water daily. I drink when I'm thirsty and I'm also drink when I'm not. Sometimes it is just a habit to have a sip of water and I can't think of anything to do.
For your answer. So let's move on to part 2. Can you describe a place that you visit to keep fit?
The place for me to keep fit, I would like to talk about my local gym where I visit 3 times a week. It's a new sports center with the latest fitness equipment in my town, and it has everything you would ever need to keep fit, from treadmill to varied dumbbells and exercise for different muscle groups. Moreover, it even offers a wide range of different classes for every test. I developed my own strength building strategy, so I usually start with a short one-up when I went there, when I jog on the treadmill for a few minutes to sweat. Then I climb to the weight section and start doing some lifting exercise. Finally, and I end my workout with stretching. I try to not miss any of my training because they help me to relax and forget about my daily routine.
Good answer. That's a nice one. So let's the final part. Do you think should people go in for sport more?
Definitely. Sport should be an essential part of everyone's life. Not only is it good for your health, but it also helps you to be in a good mood. That's why I think people should certainly train more.
So which sport is the best for people and who and used to work out?
For me, in my point of view, everybody should start with some light training, maybe like jogging or brisk walk every day. And it's better to avoid strenuous exercise for the first couple of months because you are not used to it yet. So powerlifting is definitely out of the question.
The last question. Why some people enjoy sport more than others?
It is a tough question, I would say. The main reason it is hard to find for your perfect kind of sport. If you don't like football or basketball, it doesn't mean you won't enjoy like cricket. For example, it is important to not fear some trial and error methods, and you will inventively find your ideal sport. Well, the first question is, how often would you like to hang out with your friend?
I hang out with my friends from time to time. Normally, if we have a lot of time in the weekends, we might go to a cinema to watch movies or go to the theme parks. If we don't have that much time, maybe we will just have a dinner together in a restaurant.
Thank you. And now the next question: do you like to go out with a big group, or just a few friends?
Well, if I had to choose between the two, I would go with hanging out with a big group of people because I feel that I'm an extrovert. I like to meet different people and get to know about them and their different kinds of life. I like to be social, whereas with few people around, it would be hard to find something interesting to do, or such as traveling or hiking or something like that.
And now let's move on to part 2. Yes, can you tell me what are some of the difference between formal and informal discussion?
Probably one of the biggest difference is that in a formal discussion, depending on whether it's between two people or a larger group, there are usually turns. So one person might speak first and say something, and then another person will say something to reply. And during the discussion, all people will get a chance to say what they think about the topic being discussed. But in an informal discussion, there is no kind of turn taking. People tend to just jump in as they think of something, and if two people have opposing views, they might actually have an argument for a while, and the others in the group just listen until they have finished arguing. Informal discussions are a lot less structured and tend to happen between groups of friends or at least people who know each other really well.
Thank you. The last question: how important it is to learn good communication skill at school?
Personally, I think it's very important. Probably know it is one of the most important skills because if you can't communicate your ideas to other people, then it will have problems in the future. There's a lot of emphasis nowadays on collaborative working in teams more so than in the past, and that's another reason why it's essential for young people to develop good communication skills so that they can participate efficiently and effectively in the workforce and contribute to their team, the company, or whatever project they might be working on.